Good afternoon. It's Thursday. Anyone else have what I like to call a trick-or-treating hangover? Phew, I'm exhausted. And we didn't even trick-or-treat that long. I just think it's all that goes into it. I'm hoping that Joe can join us. He was at the store, so hopefully he'll be out soon and he'll be able to hop on. But I had to get started because Russell's all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And hopefully Joe will be on soon. Hey! I'm waiting for your husband. Trying to. November 1st, just for today. Awakening. God helps us as we help each other. Basic text, page 52. Well, could you get off the phone with him so he can get on? Our addiction caused us to think almost exclusively of ourselves, even our prayers. If we prayed at all, we're self-centered. We asked God to fix things for us or get us out of trouble. Why? Because we didn't want to live with the problems we created for ourselves. We were insecure. We thought life was about getting, and we always wanted more. And in recovery, we get more than just not using. The spiritual awakening we experience in working the 12 steps reveals to us a life we never dreamed possible. We no longer need to worry about whether there will be enough, for we come to rely on a loving, higher power who meets all our daily needs. Relieved of our insecurity, we no longer see the world as a place in which to compete with others for the fulfillment of our desires. Instead, we see the world as a place in which to live out the love our higher power has shown us. Our prayers are not for an instant gratification, they are for help in helping each other. Recovery awakens us from the nightmare of self-centeredness and insecurity that lies at the core of our disease. We wake up to a new reality. All that is worth having can be kept only by giving it away. Just for today, my God helps me as I help others. Today I will seek help in giving away the love my higher power has given me, knowing that that is the way to keep it. Every day, if you guys haven't seen it before, every day we read the Just for Today. It's always awesome. It's always on point. It always relates to everyone. Even though it's an NA NA daily meditation for recovery addicts, it applies to everyone a lot of the times, whether it's in life or business, I believe that you can only keep your peace by giving away peace. I believe that you can only stay clean by helping the new addicts, the new people into recovery. I really like that it says, and in recovery we get more than just not using. Because like I've said 100 times before, even if I had never used drugs, my life wouldn't be what it is today. It still wouldn't be the same, I'm a new person. I found a new way of life. Are you trying to get him on, Shaver? I sent him an invitation. I was hoping he could get on. I just couldn't wait any longer because Russell's impatient, My friend, who, like I said last week, was, just getting into recovery, was just starting to detox her body from the drugs, is on her 8th day. Yay! I'm just so tickled and so pleased and so proud of her and just so grateful that she reached out to me, because she said to me yesterday, it was that easy. She said to me last week or the week before that I made recovery sound easy. And I was like, well, it is easy, Life shows up whether you're high or not. And so I can't promise that life will be easy, but recovery is easy. You just have to make that decision to do it. So, super proud of her, super excited for her. She has this new glow to her. She went live yesterday and talked about it, which I was super excited for. I knew she was going to, I just didn't realize she was going to do it yesterday when she did it. So, super exciting. Alright guys, well, I'm not going to stay on too long. Tomorrow is Living with Unresolved Problems. Oh, invite you? Well, now that I see you, I can invite you. Yeah, it was. Once you make that decision, it's easy. You just making the decision is the hardest part, I feel like.
What's up, y'all? Sorry I'm
There he
late.
is. It's okay. I told Trevor I had to go because Russell's getting impatient.
Man, Russell better
You got
chill
a
the
hoodie
hell
on,
out.
boy. You know it's hot out here. all hopped
I
up on
always
that
wear a
candy.
hoodie at the gym.
Yeah, I do too. But it's hot out here. I couldn't do it today.
At least when I start out, I always start out with a hoodie on. I don't usually keep it on, but
Yeah. So I'm not gonna read the whole just for today, Joe, but I'll read the last piece. Um, just for today, my God helps me as I help others. Today, I will seek help in giving away the love my higher power has given me, knowing that it is the way to keep it. And I really liked it.
yeah, I read it.
Okay, good. Well, go ahead and say what you have to say.
I feel like for me, I feel like it's kind of telling people, like I don't know. I always say, I try to give a lot of what I would like to receive in return.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like if I do something for you, you gotta do something for me, but more so like vibes and energy. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
like I feel like if I do good for somebody else, um, I at least get good karma. And even if I don't get anything in return, I feel like it gives me a good conscience. Like I'm
Yeah.
doing something positive.
Yeah.
I'm doing something more than is required.
Right. It's funny that you say that because this morning, when I went to the grocery store and I was checking out, the lady was talking to this man in front of me about how she had retired 3 times. She gets 3 retirement checks, right? And I said to her, I said, "Oh yeah, my grandmother retired 3 times, and then she volunteered at the hospital." And she said to me, nothing was ever given to her for free, so she wasn't going to volunteer. And I wasn't telling her that she should go out and volunteer opposed to collecting a paycheck every week. But when she said that to me, it really hit me. I was like, wow, like I've never looked at it that way, I guess. Like when I help people, when people reach out to me, and they're, trying to seek recovery, I'm not looking for a payback. I'm not looking for a good job or here's some money for your time. None of that. All my recovery stuff is just me giving away what was so freely given to me.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Somebody, I watched this video one time, and it was about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he said, I hate when people say that they're self-made because there's no such thing as a self-made person. Somebody's helped you in some way
Yeah,
along the way. You've been helped by somebody.
absolutely.
Um, and I feel like, there's a lot of times where, people looked out for me when I didn't have nothing. And
Right.
I don't necessarily just do for those people either, because that's kind of keeping all the good deeds and all the blessings inside the same circle when you can put them outward.
Yeah.
Help the homeless guy on the corner. You know, help one of the struggling addicts out there. Help somebody with something that is random. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
I feel like it's more effective when it's more random and it's you know
Well, and it's, obviously you can help whoever you want to help, but I don't like when people put limitations on it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'll help the homeless people, but the drug addicts, forget them. They put themselves in that position. Well, you don't know that the
yeah.
homeless
What's up?
people, right? Exactly. So it's like, I mean, you're just
The
contradicting
homeless people
yourself.
are drunk and drug addicts, so it's the same. I mean, same thing.
There's a lady on my Facebook who she commented on one of the posts last week where they were talking about a big drug bust or something, and she made the comment about she goes over to Baltimore and she ministers to the homeless. She said, and 85% of them are drug addicts and alcoholics. She said, I don't treat them any differently than I do the ones that aren't. If you're helping people for an ulterior motive, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. I don't think I said that right.
I think everybody. I think everybody's got that good person in them somewhere,
Yeah.
and when you help somebody, you're not helping the bad side of them. You're helping that good side to them. You're helping that good person that's inside of them, and thinking maybe, you know, this could be the break that they needed.
Right.
Sometimes people just need that little break, and that could be that break for them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the littlest thing could click with them and get through to them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about that a lot when I think about your mom and how, she went into Bonnie's house like 2 weeks earlier than what she was originally supposed to. Bonnie didn't have to make room for her. Bonnie didn't have to stop her day and go over and be to the house so that she was there when we took your mom there. She didn't have to do any of that. So,
And I feel like the people that need the help the most are the people that are in the worst situations. You know what I mean?
yeah.
A lot of times, addicts and alcoholics, they're in one of the worst positions because you know they got something hanging on to them that won't let them go,
Yeah.
and it drags them down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It keeps them at a certain level. It doesn't let them, you know, go past that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
it always limits them.
Right. Right.
Like most drug addicts and alcoholics, from where I'm from, they do the bare minimum just to get by and like support their habit.
Yeah.
They either work, shitty jobs, or they're petty hustlers, or whatever, and they never like realize or maximize their full potential because they're so clouded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I feel like those are the type of people that need it the most. Those are the type of people that need the most help.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more serving to help those who are in the worst situations.
Hmm. Hmm. I wanted to say there's a part in here that it says about our addiction caused us to think almost exclusively of ourselves. Even our prayers, if we prayed at all, were self centered. And a lot of times when people talk about, oh, the addict in their family has hurt them, they stole from them, or, something happened and they had a fight or whatever the case, it's always, the family member or the person that's not the addict is always kind of like, why did they do this to me? And so if I could say anything to anybody that's dealing with this currently, addiction is extremely self-centered. And when you're in the midst of it, you can't even see it. You can't even see how self-centered you are. I could never see it. I always assumed I wasn't hurting anybody. Even if I was taking money from you, I wasn't really hurting you. You would be all right. You would manage.
Yeah, a lot of people, like a lot of family members and shit, they take it personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like man, if you only realize like how much shit the addict was going through,
Right.
and you're making it all about you and making it about yourself when it ain't got shit to do with you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're
Danielle.
just adding on to their bullshit. You're adding on to the shit they're already dealing with by, taking it personal and turning it around and making it about you. It's like, how are they
Doesn't
supposed
have
to clean
anything
their
to
shit
do
up?
with you. Yeah.
Like how are they supposed to get right if they're like busy dealing with you now because now you're taking it personal. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Danielle said that's all I thought about, where and how I could get more. And that was me, girl, every day, every morning, and a lot of times the night before. If I knew I wasn't going to have anything to wake up with in the morning, then I didn't sleep well because I was too busy trying to figure out what I was going to do in the morning because I needed to get right so I could function.
I mean, I just obsessed over it. Like, for me, like getting drunk, like that was all I look forward to. If I knew I was getting fucked up on Saturday,
Right.
um, Monday through Friday didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
just I'm just coasting. I'm in autopilot. I'm not even here. I'm not present.
Right.
I'm just a body. And then once that day comes, I'm a whole different person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm excited. Because I know I'm gonna get my head right.
Yeah.
And I mean, people just you know people try to take it the wrong kind of way. Like it's if you cared, or if it mattered to you, you wouldn't put such and such through that. Or it's like, stop making this about you. You know what I mean? This ain't got nothing to do with you.
Right. The other thing I
And
don't like is when people, like if the child is an addict, they blame the parents, or if the parent is the addict, they hold the children responsible, and that's not fair to either party at all. Because my mother didn't do anything that made me decide to go out and use. Just like when your mother went out and used, it wasn't anything you or Josh did. It didn't have anything to do with you guys.
no, but I took it personal.
Yeah,
Because I
it's
felt
hard
like,
not to.
yeah, it's hard. That's why I'm saying, because I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been the alcoholic. I've been the drunk, and having people around me that took my shit personal.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And then I've been the same person that's taking it personal when my mom was getting high. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I felt like I'm going to college. I'm trying to do something with my life, and I can't even trust you to hold shit down for my brother because you're getting fucked up and you're getting high and you're smoking crack and you're doing this and you're doing that, and I'm too busy worrying about my brother in school than I am worrying about focusing on school. You know what I mean?
right,
And so I took it personal because I felt like it was up to us as a team, and you're not holding up your end of the bargain. You're not holding up your end.
right.
So now I felt like I had to pick up all the slack. And you know, when I got older, it seemed like it didn't really click with me from my mom until she passed away, and I was thinking about it just made me think different. It made me go back to those days and realize, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she might have did some messed up shit once in a while, but she was still a good person. You know what I mean? And I still made good memories with her even when she was in her active addiction. Like I was telling Shira, I was telling y'all, like sometimes when she lived in Salisbury, and I kicked her out of my apartment, and she went to live with this guy out here that he was a nice guy or whatever, but he was an enabler. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? But
yeah,
I would walk up the street and get my beer and go sit on the porch with her, and sit outside and drink beers and listen to music, and we would reminisce and talk about the old days, and we would laugh, and it was like nothing mattered. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I didn't even realize that she was getting high or anything was wrong with her, because she would always hold out for me a lot
yeah,
of times.
yeah. I
Like,
remember,
if she knew I was coming,
yeah, go ahead.
like if she knew I was coming over, like I give her a heads up. I tell her like a day before and be like, "Hey, I'm coming over tomorrow, so make sure you're all right."
Yeah, I remember when we
And
would go down to Ocean City. A lot of times I feel like if we were going for the day, she would be okay. But like if we stayed the night, she would be okay most of the day. But then I could remember like hearing her in the bathroom, thinking to myself, "Is this real life right now?" Because I didn't.
yeah, it only lasts so long. Like with her, man, you like when I would go over and drink beer, I'd only hang out for like an hour or two, because I'm like I know I'm holding you up, so we're gonna
Right.
hang out for a couple hours and I'm gonna bounce and let you do your thing.
Yeah.
I learned how to like work around that so I can still have my relationship with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I realized, like, man, I got a lot of reasons why I drink, and a lot of fucked up shit that happened to me when I was growing up. And I'm thinking to myself, like, the things that she went through as a child. I'm like, man, my shit don't even hold a candle to her shit. So
Right.
I can only imagine. I'm being selfish, thinking to myself, like, I have a reason, but you don't.
Right.
You know,
Right. Yeah.
it's all excuses. We can all make up reasons as to why we want to, numb out and miss what's going on around us. But at the end of the day, man, everybody has a story. Everybody has a reason.
Yeah.
Everybody can make up something as to why they want to throw their life away on some drugs or some alcohol.
Yeah. I feel like a really big piece for her this time was the grief group that she did with Bonnie and the girls at the house. I feel like that really helped her like let go of it, Like not forget obviously, but not hold so much to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, the funny thing about it is, it's like the more you use or drink and the more messed up things you do and the more trouble you get in, that just mounts
Yeah.
onto your reasons and your excuses because now you're ashamed,
Right.
you're embarrassed,
Yeah.
you got more stress because you keep getting in trouble or locked up or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just the more you do it, the more it's gonna add to your plate. The harder it's gonna get, the worse it's gonna get.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember even when she was in the house, and she had to go to court, she went to court, what, like 3 times, I think? Two or three, at least. I want to say 3 times because I feel like she went once when she got out, and then I think she went once when they sentenced her to the 30 days, and then she went once in the new year. And I remember like every day just trying to tell her, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. That'll all align itself together. And I remember when we went to court in January, and she didn't know any of us were coming. She didn't know that. Well, I don't know if she knew Shira was coming, but she really didn't know that Josh and I were coming. And I just remember how anxious she was, waiting. And the her lawyer come out and said one thing to her, and it like set her off. And we're all like, just calm down, like just relax. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Um, and it showed. He let her walk that day. So and she was a subsequent offender. So
That's an understatement.
yeah. She was a subsequent offender under many different names.
Yeah, Megan, you're right. That was a lot of it. She didn't want to disappoint anybody, so she tried to hide it. But it's like, man, you can only get away with that shit for so long. Because I used to do the same thing. Like
Yeah.
if if I knew I was gonna be alone, it got to the point where I only drank alone. I didn't even drink socially anymore. I would wait for because I had isolated myself from everybody because nobody liked me when I was fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got to the point where if I knew Shara was going home to, see her mom or some shit like that, that was my chance.
Yeah.
And I would, drink all day and pass out and, but it's obvious,
Yeah.
it's still you're not going to get away with it. It's going to catch up to you eventually, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It always does. It always does. All right. Well, that's all I got for today. I'm exhausted, Joe. Like wore out.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Trick or treating hangover.
Yeah. I got up at 5 and then I went back to sleep
Ew.
and um I was doing good. I was getting up at like 5 o'clock every morning and staying up, but I can't do it right now. I don't know what's going on with me. I keep sleeping until like 11 now. But I don't know. I stayed up late. I didn't get home till like 11:30 last night, so
Did you go buy ziti?
no.
I thought you were gonna go make
I was
tea.
so I was so hungry and so tired that I didn't stop nowhere. I went straight home. I made Leanna's lunch and dinner for the day last night, so I wouldn't have to do it today. And then I don't even know what I ate last night, man, to be honest with you.
I
I just threw some shit together and ate real quick and went to sleep.
yeah. We were up till like 1:30 watching that he was watching that Halloween whatever it is. The ghost show, where the guy tracks the ghost or they go into the houses and talk about
Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters or some shit.
whatever it is. Whatever it is, yeah.
That's the dumbest shit on the planet.
And it
That
was
show's dumb as fuck.
first off, I'm not a fan of it because like they'll be like, did you hear that? Well, no, nobody
It's
heard that.
corny as shit.
Right. And then the one they did last night was alive and it was at like his museum. And I like he would be like, "Oh my God." Like Josh was like, "I feel like they're all coked up because they were so much like just oh, oh, I don't know. Did you did you hear that?" It's like, "No, man. Nobody heard nothing." "Oh, I got a cold breeze on the back of my neck." Like, "Shut up." No, you don't. No, you don't. Just shut up.
That one that one time I was over your house and we spent the night and he put that shit on for me and I sat there and watched it for like an hour. I'm like and I'm sitting there laughing my ass off and I told Shar I'm like There's no way this shit is not comedy.
Well, and Josh said that he said because the one he did last night was at his museum, like this museum he's put together, and he was like, you can't even trust it because he's had plenty of time to like set things up, and he pulls up, and him and his crew showed up, and they're all like, I don't, I just can't with it. I just laugh the whole time. I just,
Man, yeah, that show's comedy, yo. I'm not buying it. I think it's meant to be comedy
yeah, I definitely don't
because
believe
they're shitty actors on top of it. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. Because they'll be so hype about it. Like, I just, the other night, I told Josh, I come out to use the bathroom. It was 2:38 in the morning. And I looked out into the kitchen and I told him, I thought that your mom was sitting at the table, at the end of the table. All I could see was this dark, like, figure, this dark shadow, and it looked just like her built. I said, and then I went in the bathroom to pee, and I was sitting on the toilet, and I saw something run by the door. Boy, I ran and got in that bed so quick. I'm scared.
You was like, Matthew, you got the creeps.
Yeah, I did. Yep. And it's so funny because somebody shared a picture the other day and it was like something about spooking themselves out. Like they'll be standing there and they'll be like, oh my God, somebody's behind me, knowing that there's nobody behind them and they just constantly talk themselves into the fear. And I'm like, that's what I felt like I had done to myself the other night. The fear. It's real. All right, guys.
I don't, I don't get the
Joe,
fear from watching that corny ass show.
uh-uh. Tomorrow is living with unresolved problems. And I think it was one of your mom's
Okay,
favorite ones.
yeah, that's a good one.
So I'll send it to you when we get off here so that way you can marinate on it overnight.
All right, I'll try to be on time tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for
All right.
watching. I hope you have a great day on purpose, and we'll see you tomorrow.